Chad, are you ready?
So ready, dude. I'm so ready.
All right, awesome. Well, okay, guys, it's Making Waves, episode 113. God, we've gotten that far. We'll get to 200 one day. Anyway, tonight our guest is the lead vocalist and lyricist for Fire from the Gods, AJ. Welcome, my friend. We appreciate you taking the time to spend. Is it
Yes.
Tuesday? Is it Monday or Tuesday?
It's
I've
a
been thinking
Tuesday.
it's Wednesday all day, actually. I've been up
Same.
and
Is it Wednesday? Is
is
it?
it?
It's not
It's
Wednesday, is
Tuesday.
it?
It's
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Shit, man. Well, welcome.
Tuesdays for
Thanks
the
for spending your
Tuesday.
Tuesday evening with us. Yeah.
Yes.
You just
Thank you.
mentioned right before we went live here, you mentioned you got done with Aftershock. How was it for you guys? It was a massive festival.
Oh, awesome. I think big win for Danny Wimmer and co because of the numbers. And
Hmm.
win for us because Northern California really fucks with Fire from the Gods hard. And that was our 5th time in Sacramento and our 2nd time doing Aftershock. So anytime we're there, it's just another win to be able to gain more fans and just to be in that part of the country.
Yeah.
Yeah, son. All you do is win, win, win. That's awesome,
Yeah,
man.
bro. Yeah, it's dope out
So
there.
you're
Man.
right.
It's dope, bro.
Yeah.
Pay it to everything. I love festivals, dude. That's why another reason why I was like, I was like so into the fact that this might be our year for Shiprock. So I love the festival vibe, man.
You're gonna
Yeah,
love the
it's
shit.
funny to take that size festival though, and then you condense it down to 4,500 people, but
Right.
it's just as intense, just on a much smaller scale,
Yeah,
but
of
still
course.
just as intense. But the party vibe atmosphere obviously is tenfold.
Holy shit. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's kind of weird seeing people, banging their heads to you just wearing a pair of board shorts,
Yeah.
Dude,
Or
about
Speedos
it,
sometimes.
dude. We did Warped
and that's
Tour
it. Yeah, pair of
a
speedos,
while back.
whatever.
Yeah, Speedos. God, that's wild. But we did a Warped Tour a while back, and we played at the pool at the Virgin. And I thought that was pretty rad because I'd never done anything like that. Like people were in the pool, like, yeah, they're jumping up, and it was cool. It had that like spring break kind of thing, that MTV spring break kind of vibe. It
Yeah.
was
Do you guys? I miss those days. To be honest with you, I was just talking about them the other day, like the idea of even if it turned from music television into like whatever consumer television, I suppose. They still had that like those like footholds, those specific events like the spring
yeah,
break that would slap, and it would make you feel like,
exactly.
oh yeah.
The
As
world couldn't handle that nowadays, though, man. That'd be
oh no, fuck.
that was wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It, it, it,
roaring 90s.
Yeah.
it's funny to think about the idea that has gone away. The idea of a tour, festival tour. Now everything's just kind of a
Yeah.
destination thing, right? Because it's more cost effective, whatever it may be. But yeah, the idea that traveling circus thing, that's sorely missed, and there's certainly a vacuum available for it.
Of course, 1000%.
It's like the thing is, who's going to take the risk to go in there and do it again, right? Even if they just do 10
Right.
dates, right? Like take Riot Fest and put it 10 different places.
Wow.
But we'll
I
see
mean,
if anyone comes to that.
Knotfest is kind of doing the Knotfest Roadshow, but that's really just a
Sure.
shed tour. It's another shed tour, but I like the idea.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So you guys, Soul Revolution, now it's been out since 2022.
Yeah,
If
man.
you
So
correct
rad,
me if I'm
bro.
okay. Yep. Uh, it's definitely a continuation of what you guys did with Narrative and American Sun. It's certainly super. It sounds sonically, it sounds awesome, man.
Thank you.
And it's funny because I mean, see, if you listen to the record, you guys obviously blend this hard rock thing. This kind of like along the lines of Kill Switch, where you take the course and the melodic, you kind of build them together. But the thing that differentiates you is you have an R&B aspect to some of your vocals,
Yes.
and not like a POD rap thing, but a straight like R&B, like Maxwell or something of that nature.
The
And
rock
so, and
seal,
then
bro. The metal seal.
Yeah.
the metal seal. There you go. And then you can take obviously some Jamaican roots and the Rasta stuff and do it on like Rapture. So which is adds a kind of a Bad Brains flair to it.
Yes.
And it's super interesting record that you were able to meld all this thing and kind of make it your own signature sound now. Because you guys are, well, I mean, you guys are have been around now since what, 6 years, 7 years now, but
Yes.
you're still kind of seen as the new school following on the you know, falling on the tails, or like, you know, Kill Switch, like you're the kind of the next wave coming in there for that. Was there bands instead inspired you to create a sound? Because you guys are from Austin, which is not a hotbed for that style of music.
No, not at all.
San Antonio used to be like the metal capital of the world, but that's kind of faded. But Austin obviously leads more to alternative, country, Americana, and then here you guys are, yeah, hip hop. But you guys are like, you know, a rarity coming out of that scene.
There's a
How did that work out?
bands. Well, to start, there's a scene here, right? But that scene is pretty much very underground, very metalcore oriented, and metalcore, you know, kind of had its root, and it lived in the underground for so long. It's now become this thing on where it's like, okay, metalcore exists by way of bands like Bad Omens, and you know, bands like Bring Me the Horizon and the like, who have mainstreamed metalcore. But as far as we're concerned, Fire from the Gods existed in that underground hardcore metalcore scene that wasn't very, you know, that existed very niche in places. So it's been here. And I came from a band in Brooklyn, so I already took that kind of New York hardcore vibe that I had and brought it to Austin, and kind of was able to infiltrate a little bit because there's a lot of similarities in that underground vibe. And I found out that there's a whole world of it here, man. So many dope punk bands, so many dope metalcore bands, so many traditional hardcore bands, so many post-hardcore bands. There's a lot going on in Central Texas. And even you could add Dallas in there a little bit too, which kind of mirrors what we're doing in Austin. But it's dope, man. It's still that music town, but not so much what it was as far as the music town is concerned.
Yeah, I always knew the fan base there and the crowd for it was there, because if you remember those fun festivals, those used to be just ripe for all those bands. I mean, you'd have bands like Youth of Today come out of retirement to play it,
right? Exactly.
And there's 2,000 people out there, and the stage diving and everything's just nuts. So the crowd's always been there, but always curious about. There's no above ground scene there. I mean, maybe maybe at the old emos, not the new one that's over there on. What's it on Riverside now?
Right, that's funny because our tour manager owns the venue right next to it. Come and take it, and that's become the staple.
Oh yeah.
In Austin,
I was gonna.
That's right. Come and take it. Yep.
I was going to mention
December.
I was going to mention him. Yeah, in that venue specifically.
Yeah,
great guy.
You guys have played there when you were in Wilson, right?
Oh yeah. I played.
I think I might have seen you there actually.
Yeah, probably with Mel. Back when Mel used to live there, I think. Did you you know Mel? Yeah,
Mel, exactly. Mel used to live there. Well, there's a lot of music and a lot of people that are adjacent to metal and active rock. You know, there's a band called Catch Your Breath. They were also on Shiprock. They're from Austin, and they're really making Kingdom Collapse, who everyone is really falling in love with and really making a lot of noise. They're from New Braunfels, which is essentially Austin, but about an hour.
Yeah.
You know? So it's one of those small towns that surround the area. So there's a lot of rock, hard rock, metal that I guess will start definitely breaking through into a lot more ears, so people can realize that Austin, Texas doesn't mess about. We do have a metal. We do rock here. We still do a lot of rock and shit.
And comedy. You're like the comedy. King.
I know.
Yeah. I was just down there seeing a bunch of I went to Rogan's opening and all that stuff. Yeah. The town is popping off. You know.
Well, it's just funny coming from the old school Austin of like the late 80s for school there, and you go back. I mean, we just on tour there 4 weeks ago. You roll through and you're like, what is this city? You know,
it ain't that no more. It's missing a lot of that, which I caught the back end of that. Southwest isn't what it used to be.
Nah.
You know, ACL's cool, but ACL is definitely more on the indie side, indie pop.
Sure.
They'll have a Deftones on, you know, or one of those rare bands that you might see. I think Converge played an ACL or something like that once, but you know, they haven't really opened the doors, and I kind of think that sucks a little bit. But you know, I've been through so much adversity in this business. I don't give a shit anymore. It's like, oh, they don't want. Wait, they don't do rock. Okay, there's tons of other people, so I've learned to let that.
Is the Mohawk still around?
The Mohawk
is Mohawk still there?
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Still super trendy. You know, Austin. That's another thing. Austin's about right? So right now, this whole
Yeah.
tech and the comedies moved here, and I think rock by way of Fire from the Gods and like bands like Catch Your Breath and Kingdom Collapse. Now it's like the trend is rock. The trend is active rock and more of the mainstreaming kind of stuff that you'd hear on Octane. You know, stuff that you wouldn't specifically hear anywhere else, but it lives in a world where, say, ship rockers listen to, because I see a ton of people that are ship rockers that come to shows from adjacent states, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Colorado even, and they'll make their way down to Austin because they know that that's where I'm going to see such and such band. I'm going to see Seven Dust. Seven Dust is going to come close if I can't get to Seven Dust, if they're not playing anywhere near my state. They'll come to Austin because they know Seven Dust is going to be here in Central Texas. So it rips.
Austin, like South Texas, has that one component that makes metal still thrive there, and that's a large Hispanic community.
Yes.
And Mexican Americans and metal are so synonymous with that region. It's crazy. Yeah.
Bro,
I got a question. Can I?
Yeah, go on.
Sorry, I wanted to toss it back real quick about. I didn't know you were from. You said Brooklyn. That's where you came from, like into.
Yeah, I moved from Austin from Brooklyn.
So, so can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, bro.
Was the band what brought you to? Yeah.
I was in a hardcore band called Ashes Within, and we had done this Battle of the Bands, mind you. That was this national Battle of the Bands. Sumerian Records had put this thing on, and a lot of bands joined, and they were like looking, hey, if you win this thing, you can get a contract. So my band was making some waves, and we got invited to the early rounds. We did well. We moved on to the regional. Then from regional, we went to LA, and there was this band from Texas that everyone was talking about on the way there. They're like, yo, have you heard Fire from the Gods? And me being the New Yorker that I am, they're like, oh, yo, it's fronted by this dude that raps. And so I'm like, yeah, all right, let's see. What you talking about? Let's see. You know? And I checked it out. I was like, yo, this is dope, dude, because I hadn't heard anything like it. And I had been trying, admittedly, so I don't even ever think I've admitted this out loud, actually, but I really wanted my band. That's where I wanted to push my band to what they were doing at the time. And that was more along the lines of Kill Switch Engage, because it was a lot heavier and it had a lot more of a metal edge to it. So there were a lot of fast picking riffs, a lot of forward to the floor shit that you'd hear in thrash or something like that, or metalcore. And we were just doing some really like down tempo kind of Meshuggah-esque, genty hardcore, and it was all screaming, no clean vocals. And I got to a point in my life when I was like, dude, I really just don't want to be known as a screamer. I can do it, but I didn't always want to do it. And that's what in Brooklyn and that scene, it was like, yo, no clean vocals allowed, Yeah, we love bands like Killswitch Engage because those are OGs and we respect them. Yeah, we love Slipknot and Korn, but we're not going to admit it because that's too cool. We're these tough ass hipsters that only want to hear brutal music. And Fire from the Gods, everyone was talking about this band. I checked it out, and lo and behold, the person that was looking to manage Fire from the Gods was also looking to manage Ashes Within. So there's some issues internally. Guy was like, I don't want to tour. And my manager was like, listen, I've got this opportunity. Fire from the Gods is looking for someone to help them and transition while they're looking for a vocalist. I was kind of like, what are you talking about, Willis? And then he was like, yo, this band, they really want some. So dudes, we started talking, and homie was like, yeah, why don't you come down to Texas? And I had toured through Texas before, and I was like, that's rad. I'm still, my allegiance obviously is to New York. I love the city. I grew up here. There's nowhere else in the world. Although I've lived so many other places, I just love New York City. So I went down to Texas, tried out, and they were like, yo, bro, we have a show this weekend. Did you want to, because I learned they had no idea that I was like, yo, I'm taking this guy's job, by the way. You know what I'm saying? So I went, I studied up, I learned the stuff, jammed it with them, and they were like, yo, you can do the show with us, man, because I don't even think he's going to show up. And we just, like-minded guys that were all doing the same thing, touring, hopping into a van, playing as many shows as possible, working a whole nother job, have no real, wanting this thing to live this life, but just going by it, those little baby steps that you take. And we linked up, dude, and it was love, bro. It was love. It was instant, like, yo, this is what's up. And then we started creating music, and people will labels started getting wind of it, you know, and other labels, and aside from Sumerian, which I already had a relationship with, other labels that, you know, we looked up to, and the bands that we looked up to, people are starting to mention things. We got signed, and it's just been like, yo, it's been one win after one win after one win since then. We've had a fantastic little career thus far, and a lot of it just started with that little, you know, meeting. They needed a guy, and I stepped in, and that's just me, dude. We were about it, and it was just never a second thought. We just started, we hopped into a van. We were like, yo, we have shows. Let's start booking shows. You know, there was never a second thought that we weren't going to do this together. And we're still doing it together. We had a blast at Aftershock this weekend. We do our thing, man. I could talk about it forever. Look at me. I'm blushing.
I mean, I love it. I love
It's
it.
funny.
I love that. The energy is like, this is what I'm talking about.
There is no better boot camp than running yourself through that New York hardcore scene, because A, you're being judged all the freaking time. And B, it's the best of the best. It's the best of the best. And, you know, it's so funny when you talk about the scene. And I thought, man, when you talk about describe your band, I was like, man, they kind of sound like Burn. Remember Burn?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
From New York. Bro. Yeah.
New York hardcore, man.
Yeah,
that's a lot of Hatebreed, E-Town Concrete, all those bands, you know.
E-Town.
You know, Integrity, all those bands, like really.
Well, dude, I used to work for Revelation Records, so I had kind of I had a foothold in that realm for a while. So it's funny, dude. When everyone talks about the band Slipknot, I'm like, you know, there's a New York hardcore band years before them called Slipknot. They were on Revelation. I'm like, how did they not get a cease and desist?
I never knew that.
Yeah. The big thing was the 7-inch they had out.
my big question then after that meeting is, you transplanted, like you had your suitcases.
Immediately.
Okay, that's what I got. Okay,
yeah,
that's what.
Maybe it took about a year. Let me not say immediately, but once it, like, we signed and we went into the studio with David Bendeth and we started working the narrative. He was like, dude, why do you live in New York? How are you going to do this? How are you going to live your dream? David Bendeth is a savage, by the way. You probably on a band. You're recording on it, so you know what you've heard. David Bendeth, you know, there's no crying in my dojo type shit, you know. he's a tough cookie, that boy, but he just really instilled in me. He's like, if you want this, dude. And, you know, I told him a little bit of my history. Man, I did merch for for Randy's other band that he had for a while.
Lamb of God.
Well, Lamb of God. Burn the Priest was Lamb of God, and then Locust. Halo of Locust was other band that he had for a while. And I did merch and tour managed and drove their van. You know, I was doing security at local clubs. I was hanging out. You know, very similar to a lot of people that just were hangabouts and around bands. And I did that for years. I toured for years. And, you know, David Bender was like, someone with your history, you know, if you're really going to commit to this, you know what you got to do. And then I was like, man, I'm done with the snow anyway. I'm going to Texas. And we've been here ever since, man. And I dig it. It's a vibe, bro.
Oh, man, I love that, dude.
Yeah, man.
So can I then take a step by step to this, like the narrative chapter of the life where so you put the record, you did the record with David, put it out through Rise, and then you re-released it a year later. What was that, through Rise as well? But with Jonathan and Jonathan Davis did some songs.
Yep. We hung out with JD, dude. I haven't talked about this in a minute, bro. So yeah,
let's go.
You're bringing back the good memories, bro. My college years, so to speak. Yeah, dude. We went to we went to Bloodcut. What is this place? He's from Bakersfield. We went to Bakersfield to record. So we had the David Bendeth experience with narrative, and the response from narrative, which I didn't expect that. I was in the studio on some like real in my feelings, like, I don't know if I should rap, but dude, this is what you wanted to do. I don't know if I should sing in Jamaican patois, but bro, this is what you wanted to do. You know, you're here. And David Bendeth wasn't hearing none of that, bro. He wasn't this, I'm not sure. He's like, you're here, bro. And you've got this opportunity, because at the time, new bands were not recording with David Bendeth. He wasn't taking in a baby band, especially a baby band with guys that were well into their 20s. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he's dealing with a small baby band that's just starting out, getting their feet wet, he's taking something that he's developing. And we went in there, you know, and when I heard "Excuse Me" for the first time being mixed and mastered by an actual master of his craft,
Mm.
it brought absolute tears to my eyes, bro, because I was just like, this is it. You know, the bits where I'm singing a little bit more in Jamaican patois on the bridge, the bits where I'm rapping, all the emotion that I wanted to put into this music, he was able to capture. And that, you know, then it hits like Octane and stuff like that, and boom, out of nowhere, we've got millions of views, and people are like, what is going on? And we're getting calls from the OGs, Seven Dust, Corn, POD, you know, we're getting those kind of calls, and it's like, word, this is something real. So the label's like, okay, bang, we had this moderate success with the first thing, let's try something new and with you guys. And they introduced us to Jonathan Davis. Jonathan Davis heard the music because he was hanging out with Ash from Sumerian one day. This is a wild history, because two labels that had were usually kind of at it artistically, culturally, this whole cultural battle between Rise and Sumerian, which did wonders for the scene. I'm telling you, so many great bands came out of that little tension and rivalry.
Yeah, seriously.
So many good bands. And you know, Ash was really into Fire from the Gods, man, and he played it for Jonathan Davis, and JD was like, dude, I have the studio here where Korn records all their pre-pro and does all their stuff, and has done since like the last four or five records or so. They were like, he was like, dude, bring these guys in here. I get the call, they're like, yo, JD wants to work with you. I'm like, what? Nigga, what?
Yeah.
Like, yo, bro, JD is interested. So in like the soldiers that we are, we hopped in the van and drove all the way, because this wasn't back in the days where you're getting on a plane. There was no budget for any of that. So we hopped in the van, drove straight to Bakersfield a week before we were going to be on tour again, and made it work. Spent a week with Jonathan Davis, and I got to tell you, he's one of the sweetest, probably most intelligent guys in this business, and just open-hearted, you know, like as far as being so real. You know, I've never met anyone more real in this business, bro. JD's a champ. And having recorded with the guy, and he's one of the dudes that, you know, and I'll get to this at some point too. He's one of the guys that's like, dude, yeah, you can scream. We get it. We can all scream, but you have a great voice, man. Don't hide that voice. Don't hide behind this being super metal and being who you are. Not being exactly who you are thing. Just doing that one thing and relying on it so much. And he's like, dude, you gotta sing, bro. And he told me this in front of Mikey Islander. And Mikey's like, yeah, bro, you gotta sing, bro. We're just hanging out having backstage. And so, dude, so with Soul Revolution, man, dug a lot deeper into that, because, you know, American Son, yeah, he told me that stuff back then, but I didn't really get it until, like, you know, Soul Revolution and American Son. And so we did 2 songs with the guy, and that changed our career too, because then we were getting calls from Danny Wimmer and stuff like that. We were getting calls for Welcome to Rockville and Carolina Rebellion and Rock on the Range. And so what we wanted and what I'd always sought was starting to happen. So it was just this natural progression that we continued to strive to be that band. I loved bands like Creed. I loved bands like Bush. I loved big rock bands as much as I loved the underground and the metalcore and the heavier stuff. I loved and idolized those people. I idolized Fred Durst and those guys, you know, like that shit was so dope. Nothing bounced like that, you know what I'm saying? And the whole world knew it. So I was like, I can do this. I don't have, you know, I never really wanted to be like a rapper or just specifically a singer, because I come from reggae music and hip hop. My dad worked in it. But I was like, once I got into metal, I was like, anything I do musically has to be heavy, you know? So that's why, from narrative on, you know, we still try to embrace that heaviness, because we love that. I love it personally, and it's something that has shaped the band. You know, you feel me? So
yeah. Like the heaviness too. Like one thing I think that like we often get lost in our heads with the sonic idea of heaviness, and that's part of the puzzle. But like when you're putting in the work, the effort, the growth, the lyrical content, the
Yeah.
way it's delivered, all of that becomes a whole other, it becomes a whole other different layer of the onion of heavy. And those are what you guys are doing, right? It's that's what rises to the top, you know.
Dude, for real, man. Like, look, there's so many good bands right now that are stepping out, and so many rappers, Hyro, Oxymorons, you know, there's so many dudes, even Jason with Fever, you know, he's online, you know, saying things like, I've never really wanted to fully bring myself into my music, but I'm completely bringing myself into music and taking those sonics from other aspects of music and just putting it into this huge melting pot. And Fire from the Gods, I think, does it best. But, you know, shout out to my homies.
I love
You know, it's funny because there's such an arc in music these days where what was once considered heavy had a rule, had like, it was kind of stringent about like, hey, it's 1983, you got to be thrash, you got to fall in these lanes, it's got to have this kind of tempo. Nowadays it's like metal or whatever you want to call it, hard rock, it's so all over the place that really, quite honestly, your band can fit into 5 or 6 different segments, right?
Yeah.
And what we consider heavy before, heavy triggers, heavy. I'm like, I went to Depeche Mode the other night, and I'm like, the material and the narrative is what's heavy. That's heavy as shit. Yeah. So you can mix up a commercially hard rock song and throw in singing and rap, but all into one thing, like you mentioned, Limp Bizkit did, and it's heavy, right? There's no rules anymore, which fits into the paradigm of what you guys are trying to do pretty well.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I like that. We like to keep the crowd rocking, bro. And I tell people, I'm like, yo, you didn't know you were gonna come to a Fire from the Gods show and shake your ass, did you? You know what I'm saying? The other day at Aftershock, you know, I was in a place and I was just like, everyone, you know, the whole crowd shouting "Ja Rastafari," you know, and that's a rock show, dude. So that was huge, bro. And I was like, yo, look at my people out here. Look at these, you know, so there's those lines and the purist of which I still respect. I respect those dudes in their opinion, and those people that are like, keep rap out of my rock, or, you know, if you're not fast, you're last. You know, if it doesn't have breakdown in New York, if it doesn't have breakdowns, we're not moshing type shit. You know? You know, that was like they should have put that on the t-shirt. If you don't have breakdowns, we're not moshing, because that's how it was. But people are just a little bit more open-minded, I guess, or just like at this point, you know, it's like a lot of that hot air about what's not heavy and what's not this. Who cares now, dude? Like you said, the subject is heavy.
The attitude is way different.
Yeah.
The gatekeepers are always funny, because I'm like, they're always trying to set these rules. I'm like, you know, this music came from the streets. The street is reflective of different cultures within a street, especially New York.
Exactly.
Black, white, Hispanic, Cuban, whatever, Lithuanian, whatever. Whoever's in the street that's what creates the sound. That's where the sound stems from. So
that's where that voice is gonna come from. You know, it's gonna come from that edge, that grit, and just, you know, I kind of stand that, bro. But I love black metal too, though, dude. So I can get down to some.
And those are stringent, you know, like, dude. But at the end of the day, you can respect that, right? You know, and you can respect their stance on it, but it doesn't necessarily. You can listen to it just like they listen to everything that we're just talking about right now.
I hear people say, "Yo, you can't go to why?" We went to a show in Norway one time, dude. We were on tour, and then we went to this bar after. We went, I think it was Norway, but it was definitely in Scandinavia. And this dude was sitting in the corner of the bar. And when we walked in, they were like, yo, these guys do not belong here. First of all, you got me, 6'5" Jamaican youth, loud. I've got on I definitely wasn't dressed like a metalhead. Then you got Barner, loud, Houston, Texas. He looks like Matthew McConaughey, you know, or something like that. He looks like because he's like a farmer. Then Richie's like the skater boy. So we were not in the uniform, and we're metalheads. And this dude was sitting in the corner with his hood up, and he's like, you know, he's got the big beard going, and we're like, that's probably what a Viking looked like back in the days. If you walked into somewhere or some tavern, that's what that guy looked like.
He's straight out of Dungeons and Dragons.
Dude, straight up, bro.
But isn't it funny? Because if you sat down and talked to the guy, what happens there is the facts happen. You guys, if he sits in and talks to you and goes, "Oh, these guys know what they're talking about. They know X artist. They know this record. They know the label." That always happens. Like the perception is like, well, you're not dressed apart. I'm like, how many fucking people I've run to that like think they're vampires, don't know shit about the lore of a vampire. Exactly, it's just like, bro. That's the thing. It's like if you know, it doesn't matter if you're a white collar guy who walks in there off your fucking, after work, and if you know all the black metal stuff, you know everything. That's where the conversation, the communication happens, and that's where worlds are breached, right?
Well, that's why I love the scene, and I always say on live, I'm like, yo, I love rockers and metalheads because I've never felt more accepted anywhere else that I've been in the world, and I've been in Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. That's
like well, so like you put on, it's coming back to the guy, you put some fucking track pants on, and you, the comfort level is out of control. So maybe that's what they need, is just a little bit of that.
Dude, Rain and Blood came on, and he stood up, bro. He
stood up.
We were doing shots with him, dude, and like it was Rain and Blood came on, dude, and and he stood up. He took the hood off. It was like, awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah, you got the.
What's funny is you always want to break their illusion, because they love these certain artists and this and that. But I'm like, you know what, guys? These bands you like, whether it's Dark Funeral, whoever you want to like, backstage they're wearing shower shoes and gym shorts, just like me.
Yeah.
Word up. They're just people, man. They're just people. This illusion that you have that they live in coffins, that's gone. They shower. They want. Hey, where's the Gillette underarm at?
Yeah, bro. Exactly. That's why I think people like Fire from the Gods. We're real about it. You know what I mean? We're like, out, dude. We are real dudes. That's what we're stoked for Shiprock. Like everyone's like, yo, bro, the fans are everywhere, and okay, I get it, but the first thing I do after a set is I'm at the bar anyway, hanging out with people at the merch table, and I'm not just standing there with a guy watching my back with security or anything like that. I'm mixing up. I jumped into a selfie with this family one time at a show, and they all had on Fire from the Gods shirts. They didn't know I was standing behind them in the crowd, and I went right behind them when they were taking a selfie. It was beautiful. I couldn't find it better. It was awesome, dude. And the look on their faces. We're real dudes, man. None of that, bro. Yeah, like
no, it's funny. AJ, we can't stress enough to you, and we talk about it with other artists, is like who haven't been on. And it's like the first day thing is once they see you, get a photo with you, say, hey, the rest of the week, they kind of pretty much leave you alone. They walk by you, give you a fist bump. At that point, they're there because of their friends. They're friends from the previous cruise, right?
For sure.
They still enjoy it, but they're not up in your business. And that ends real quick. And it's funny because you run into these crazy situations where one year I'm walking by like breakfast or whatever, and there's this family, real kind of Midwestern kind of family, just sitting there, and Johannes from Avatar sitting there with them having breakfast. And I'm thinking, I got to find out what's going on here. Yeah. And I talked to the guy later, and he said, yeah, he eats breakfast with us every morning. I'm like, how did that? He's like, I don't know, it's just normal.
That's awesome, dude. That's so sick.
It's just it's the crazy. Like, everyone's just looking for a normal conversation, man. They're not looking for like, regale us with all your stories, right?
People be people. We've got enough time for that when we get back on land, and it's like, okay, you see us at a club or something like that. There's enough time for that. So
sure.
I want to mix it up because for one thing is I want to put this gauge on how impactful we have been. And I get it. And I know. And I get the emails and the text all the time. AJ, your music saved my life. But one thing I love, and why Soul Revolution was such an important record to me, and why I called it Soul Revolution, was because right after COVID, we went on tour with Korn, and that came by way of our going to do those records with Jonathan Davis. And people were just so in this like funk, they were coming to shows and we had a blast and we were able to have a beer. We were getting COVID tested every day. So there wasn't any of that, but like really super, super hanging out. But once we did that tour From Ashes to New, when it was still kind of COVID restrictive, we were hanging out. But the Korn tour was like the first tour right after. And everyone there was just a little bit of that spark sucked out of the air. And then subsequently going on a tour where we're in clubs again. The Corn tour was outside, but we're doing clubs again, and people, you're talking to people, and they're just like, man, this happened and that happened, and everyone's trying to find something to talk about that doesn't include some issues surrounding how awful COVID was, and all the stuff that was on TV. So I wrote this record called Soul Revolution because I was like, you know what? We as a nation, we need a revolution. We as a world, we need a revolution, but it doesn't have to be this revolution of violence. It doesn't have to be this revolution of political discord and political change. Yeah, the politics may need to change, but we as a people needed it, and our souls needed to change, and our souls needed new life, man. So that's that was a lot of the message behind Soul Revolution. And another tying it into why I want to see the impact that we have is because I like talking to people, especially people that listen to rock and heavy music and listen to my band. Let's talk about it. What'd you think about those lyrics? They go, dude, I like these lyrics or something like that. So I'm stoked that I'm going to be able to have those interactions with people and be, and
is it
the setting of being in a club or something like that. We're here at a show, we're hanging out, that kind of deal.
Is it imperative to you to have that conversation with one hardcore fan or with like 20 different people?
With a bunch of different people, because it typically always goes there. If they're like, and I'm sure I'm going to come in contact with a lot of people that have never heard Fire from the Gods, but I know there are going to be people there that love Fire from the Gods, and I really want to connect with those people. I want to connect with people that love Fire from the Gods and are really into it. Not because I need the ego boost or I'm looking for my next subject matter. No, I just, I like to really vibe about what I'm talking about because it's heavy. You know what I'm saying? The message is super heavy. And I like that. I like that I can help people and people like talk to me about it. They want to hear my story. And I like telling them.
That's the best fucking gift that you can give to the world is the vision.
Yeah, man.
So the whole idea of what this record, I assume that you're kind of explaining to it. Actually, can you give it to us in like 3 sentences? What you would just define this chapter of your life?
Yeah, man. Perseverance, inner strength, which it ties into perseverance, but peace and love, and having that real love for yourself. Enough to be able to go out there and love other people.
That's what I thought it was. Love other people, and without the perspective of where you came from, where you're going, all of that stuff. This, it looks like, correct me if I'm wrong, with 1,000 Lifetimes, that's the song title, right? You guys didn't. You guys are doing something awesome, by the way. I want to say that you put out Narrative, then you did a re-release of Narrative with the 2 songs. You put out American Sun, then you did a reimagined version of American Sun and Ipe. That's the way. That's the fucking way. Soul Revolution. You just put out the acoustic versions of a few of the songs from it. But then I just saw, I had no idea.
We were supposed to talk about that. I'm going on about all this other shit.
But sorry, I just want to steer you back into promoting your record. No,
you're good. I need to.
This Corey Glover feature, you guys re-release. So that's what's up, dude.
Yeah, the OG, dude. So I hadn't met him prior to that, but come on, it's Living Color, right?
He's like an incredible human.
I mentioned it to other people that don't listen to Rocky Metal, and then I'll sing Cult of Personality, and they're like, "Oh shit, yeah, that guy." Man, that guy. He's on my song, bro. But he graced it with so much passion, bro, and that voice is unmistakable. That cadence and his runs, and replaced a few of the runs that I had, the note choices, and he did his own thing. And man, first time I heard it, another one, I was like, yo, this is giving me chills. That's the OG right there, big ups. Corey.
Yeah.
I called him on the phone. He's like, yo, Wagwan. So he's speaking to me in Jamaican patois and that, It's like, Wagwan, you. And I'm like, okay, brother, up a day, man. We out here. He's a legend.
Has he seen you guys play? Has he seen you?
He has not. He has not. I really wish he did though. We were trying to line up something, but it's just, we've been busy and we're now working on new music. So it just hasn't happened, but I'm sure it'll happen at some point.
I can't wait for that.
Well, did he choose that? Did he choose that song to do, or did you guys say, "Hey, we want to rework this song. Can you do this one with us?" Or did you say, "Hey, pick one"?
Yeah, no, we worked it over with the label, and when we first got
Okay.
signed, Better Noise, someone had mentioned, they were like, we know Corey Glover, by the way, because I had talked about, singers and more like R&B in rock, and I obviously brought up Living Color, and they were like, yo, we know Corey, and I was like, holy shit, I've never met the guy, but I know he's within touching distance. So the label was like, I think this is the one, and we talked it over ourselves and presented it to him, and he was like, word. Yeah, he was about it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Just like that.
And just like that, dude. Sonny from TOD. Sonny called us and was like, yo, what's up? I was like, yo, bro, hell yeah. You know what's up. Get on the song, bro. On American Sun. He was on They Don't Like It.
Oh shit. Okay.
No, the song They
that.
Don't Like It on that record, Sonny's on. Yeah, he kills it too.
I'm gonna listen to it. I'm gonna have to listen to that.
OG
Is that on the original? Is that on the record release version?
Yes,
or is
on
that...
the record version. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, song called They Don't Like It. Sonny's on it.
Oh, that's what I'm doing after this. So I got one more question then about this particular record. And who produced it? Did you guys go back to Bendith? Or
no? Eric Ron did it. Eric Ron did
American
Son, and Eric Ron did Soul Revolution. He, with American Son, he had just come off the back of doing Godsmack Bulletproof. We were like, we want that kind of sonic big rock sound, but still within the world of our heavy and of our traditional heavy sound that we brought with us from Narrative. Excuse me. We took that metalcore sound. We wanted to double down kind of on it, and everyone has their own sort of definition of what doubling down on a record is, and for me, it's like they're saying, why would you do something that you've already done? And it's not doing something that we've already done. I'm not doubling down on something I've already done. I'm doubling down on the vibe, the idea of where I was going with it, and taking the good bits of why people fuck with our music and put that into the new one and just do more of it, give them more of that. And he was like, sure. And he had these great ideas. And so Eric Ron did American Son. The re-release, the American Son Reimagined, that was done by Richie and our band, because Richie is a fantastic producer. He's worked with Seven Dust's new stuff. He did some stuff with Keith from Breaking Ben. He's done with a ton of bands. He's worked with a ton of bands as far as writing is concerned. And then Soul Revolution was Eric Ron again, and the re-release was Richie. So we have this very good relationship with producers. The first time with David Bendith was like, yo, you're in my house, you do what I say. But now we've become a little bit more fluid with the way we work. And both records was a collaboration between us and Eric Ron.
That's awesome. That's the way it should be,
Yeah.
I mean, I think that you're benefiting, both parties are benefiting from the creative juices that are flowing in that room. Nobody knows your story better than you know your story. So as long as you're leaning into that story,
Yeah, it's always good to have a headmaster for the first time out, and then you kind of find your voice and how you want to work and what makes it most comfortable. Because being in the studio is that's not fun.
No.
So and your ideas aren't always awesome, no matter what you think. We aren't creating bangers.
Yeah, some of your ideas are like, yo, this is the best idea in the world, because you're smoking a spliff and you're like, yo, I got the chorus that's gonna change the world. And then you get it there, it's like, yo, that was whack, bro.
Oh my god.
I thought but then again, you have to realize that half of the people listening to your record are smoking too, so they probably think it's great.
Oh yeah, but the first time you come up with an idea and you're like, nah, then you listen to the producer and he's like, do this, and that happens quite a bit, and sure. I'm like, oh, then it's like, with like right now, the song right now that has become our most popular song, it's got this real uplifting musical vibe and lyrically. But I was like, I went to the studio, I was like, dude, I want something heavy, I want it to be synthy, like Nine Inch Nails, and real dark and depressing. And he was like, no, dude, chill out. You know what I'm saying? he's like chill out, Trent. You know what I mean? And so he just came up with this idea of this real, like, kind of uplifting, up-tempo, bouncy riff. And then the song became what it became. And that was the value of working with a really good producer. Especially, he just did Stain's new record, Eric Ron. Big up, man. A lot of the bands, we were on tour with Stain, dude, and that guy, for all Aaron is whatever he is anywhere else, that is a hell of a singer. You know what I'm saying? That dude,
He's got a voice.
Yeah.
He's got a voice, dude. You know what I'm saying? And dude, another one that was on tour when he was like, bro, lean into what you're doing, man. Dave Mustaine was very much like that too on tour with Megadeth. He's like, lean into what you're doing. Lean into what you're doing. Don't be afraid. Like you said, the R&B stuff, man. I was really kind of shy on that. Really trying to go from not trying, but saying, oh, I'd like a little bit more of a traditional rock kind of voice, or that, you know, it took me a while to find that voice. And I struggled with it for a long time. But I finally like embraced and was like, yeah, that's the way you're supposed to sing these songs, man. That's the way you're supposed to perform. And it's worked out tremendously.
Have you ever heard Bad Rabbits before? The band Bad
I've heard
Rabbits?
Bad Rabbits. Yeah. They were very short-lived.
Yeah.
Bad Rabbits. Didn't they have like
They're
a
still making
kind of thing going on?
with
Yeah,
R&B vocals. Yeah.
R&B vocals, jazz, funky. It was like real funky. That band was dope, dude.
They
They
lived
just
in
could
the
never get it
hardcore.
together, I heard. Yeah, they were in the hardcore world, of course. Yeah. And hardcore kids love those dudes. They were like, with the way we were when we first came out, people were like, yo, it's not deathcore, but it's heavy. So you fuck with Fire from the Gods? And people, you know, and then with us, like on the road, we're like, yo, you fuck with Bad Rabbits? And I'm like, dude, yeah, that band ripped, man. Yeah.
Sonically, nothing like Glassjaw, but Glassjaw I feel like fit in that same thing. Is like everything is so what the fuck that you can't help but like listen again, and then you're like, oh, what the fuck?
Exactly. You know? Daryl's vocals, man, and I call them the East Coast Deftones.
Yeah,
you know, Daryl's voice just so iconic, bro, and he's just so skillful, and the way he used to ride, you know, it's like those are the guys that were like, yo, you can do what you do, be yourself, and sing the way you sing, and let the spirit flow through you. You know what I'm saying? Just don't hold yourself back. And that's exactly what Dave Mustaine said. Actually, he was like, let the spirit flow through you, man.
That's so funny.
Like, okay.
To tell you my Dave Mustaine story sometime is not as cool. It's not fun. Mine has to do with pooping in the wrong bathroom.
Yo, was this the poop thing we were talking about earlier?
No.
I was Chad has many poop stories.
I used to write reviews in Revolver about the toilets I would shit in on the road and tour.
No way! I gotta read some of it. I had this idea of doing like this Instagram thing when I was like, just toilet, like bathroom graffiti, truck stop graffiti. Yeah. I gotta read those, man. I didn't know.
Dark Thrones was the column. Dark Thrones.
Nice. Speaking of death metal, speaking of black metal, there you go.
Yeah, that's great. That's clever.
You know, it's AJ, you were talking about like, you know, not being afraid to throw in like the kind of the R&B stuff into what you do, but you know, because part of your responsibility to band is to expand your audience, right? That you owe that to yourself and your band and your label and everyone involved with the band to grab as many people as you can and bring them into the fold.
1,000%.
So
carry on.
No, I was just going to say following your muse, regardless, like, hey, this doesn't fit our sound. I said, what sound are you talking about? We are whatever we want to be.
Right, exactly. We just, it took me a while, I guess, to just be like, just surrender, bro. And you go to shows, and the way people respond to Fire from the Gods, and the way they responded to like songs like I and I of Soul Revolution, you know, that has this very, you know, Rastafarian ethos to it, because the I and I in Rasta in that world is the God with an I, the God in myself, who I am. And people love it, bro. And they, you know, kids are coming up to me, they're asking me about patois and that, you know, like, and I'm saying, you know, Skin Dread was there already. So we're not doing anything new in terms of that. But I always respected Benji and was like, yo, that's their thing. I have to find my way. And as much as he inspired me, I still had to find my way and not back down from it. And people have responded tremendously well. And I can't be happier with the way people have really adopted to Fire from the Gods. Like, I mean, every time someone's like, yo, bro, we always wanted you guys on Shiprocked, you know, everywhere we go, you know. So it's like, there's a world out there that really wants to hear this music.
Yeah, well, now you're on it. So there you go. They've had the final word.
Yeah,
speaking of final words,
I told Hiram,
yeah,
and he was like, "Yo, you finally going on the boat, bro?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
hey, so you want to do walk the plank, Chad?
Yeah. So we're gonna do this little
Okay.
segment. It's gonna Justin and I'll have a couple random questions, and we'll have a question from last week's guest, who you can't know who that is until you've answered the question, and then we will tell you, and then we'll do the same thing for next week's guest with your question. My
Okay.
question for you is: if you could uninvent one thing, what would it be?
Holy shit! If I could invent one thing,
Yeah.
it would. I don't. Damn. I like everything. I know everyone's gonna be like guns, but I'm like, I like guns. I would, dude. If I can uninvent one thing, damn, I love living in the modern era. You got everything. I don't know, man. Social media.
There you go.
Yeah.
I
Social
would have went
media.
with
A
round.
double-edged sword though, because how else does people spread the word of your band? It's
Exactly.
tricky. It's a slippery. So you could have said nuclear fission.
Yeah, but that's an energy source. Energy source.
There you go.
Got a song on Soul Revolution called Double Edged Sword about this very thing.
Yeah.
Carry on.
All right.
All
My question to you is: what song evokes the strongest memories for you?
1,000 Lifetimes.
Your own song.
My own song. Yeah. 1,000 Lifetimes.
Wow. Okay. All right. How about one that's not of your own?
Guerrilla Radio.
Damn, those are solid picks.
That
Okay.
That song defined my formative years.
Okay.
All right. So this one comes
Very
from our
good.
guest next from last week. Who is the greatest rapper of all time?
Oh.
And
Biggie.
why? Sorry. Biggie?
Oh,
Yeah, and
I say Biggie, but probably people are not gonna like this. I think Drake is the GOAT.
That's so funny. I just had a conversation with my girlfriend about it.
I think Drake is the GOAT. I've never not heard a bad Drake song.
And
Do you like
so
the new
is
album?
that what? Yeah.
And I just think he's incredible because all his songs are they're not all the same. He does this whole lover boy R&B thing, then he raps, then he does this whole trap thing. Now he's doing this whole like reggaeton vibe thing, you know. So like Drake's a G. I respect Drake a lot.
All right. I'm gonna have to tell Sarah, my girlfriend, that you also love Drake. We got into a literal argument going into the mall the other day about, I'm like, I don't even fucking know a Drake song. So I gotta go apologize because apparently I fucked up.
Drake is a G, dude, and I say that because I could get into the whole Biggie, Tupac, DMX, all of that.
Sure.
I hold that a little bit closer to the heart, and when it comes to these GOAT conversations, I just take the guy that everyone talks about.
Yeah, I mean, like that's a good call. I mean, in general, that question came from Matt from Ashes to New.
Oh God! Now I gotta call the guy. I gotta retract my statement.
He's gonna be upset. He's gonna be upset with your decision.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
I'm sending him the clip.
That's a hip hop purist. You know what I mean? Matty fancies himself as a real MC, but he's all right. He's a G though. He is a real MC, but he fancies himself like he talks about the streets. You know what I mean? Matty talk about the streets. That's Philly, right? We
talked about them.
I'm gonna text him. That's funny. That's my
guy.
God.
So now it's your chance. You can't know who next. He didn't know who this week's guest was, and you can't know next week's. But and we won't tell him who asked the question until after they ask. So what's yours?
So I have to ask a question.
Yeah. I'll type it down and then I'll repeat it.
What would you say to your younger self, to your 17-year-old self?
Like as in are we posing the question about like, okay, so you've lived this long.
What sort of advice would you give to your 17-year-old self?
Okay.
What sort of advice?
What one piece of advice would you give to your 17-year-old self?
I think about that every single day, and I'm like, damn, if I could only.
What would you do? Let's might as well answer your own question. What would you tell yourself?
Be patient.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Be patient and listen. You don't know
That's
everything.
it.
You do not know everything. Yeah.
That's exactly what I would say to my 7-year-old self too. You don't know shit. You said
Yeah.
7 or 17-year-old self, just so.
17.
7-year-old self. I'm like, yo, read a book.
Okay, make sure I was
Hell,
right.
we can tell that to our 27-year-old selves these days.
Yeah,
Shit.
word. Exactly, dude. Exactly. I got 2 kids, so we're coming up well. We're doing all right.
You got 2 kids?
Oh yeah.
I do.
That's
I got
awesome.
2 babies, man.
How old?
6 and 2.
Oh, okay. So you're in it.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
That's awesome.
Went Paw Patrol yesterday, bro. She was freaking out.
Watch that with my
What do you
nephew, man.
what do they want to dress up? What do they want to be for Halloween?
One wants to be. I think we might do Disney characters again. I think she said something about Disney, so she's been watching a lot on Disney. So it could be we can talk Frozen or we could be Mufasa. I don't know. I could be Elsa for all I know. I could be dressing up as a princess this Halloween, lad. So just get ready if you start seeing the pics.
I was gonna say snap some photos.
It's Frozen. Yeah.
We say,
Yeah.
look, AJ got ready for theme night real early.
Real early, bro. Yeah. Oh, is that a thing? Yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I'm stoked.
We have theme night every night, dude. It's awesome.
I'm stoked, dude. I'm stoked, man. And
Yeah.
we're going to Jamaica.
good.
You know,
You're gonna
Yeah,
love it,
dude. It's gonna be some great stuff. Yeah, we haven't been to some of these places, so it's gonna be awesome.
yeah, wicked.
Chat, we've had you for over an hour, AJ. So thank you for your time, brother. We appreciate everything. We obviously look forward to seeing you guys here. Gosh, almost like 4 months now. It seems like a long way, but it's going so
Thank you.
quick.
Thank you for having me, bro.
But
any opportunity to chat it up, man. I love.
we
Shit,
appreciate it. Soul Revolution is out. It's been out for a while. Grab it. It's well, until this new stuff comes out, this is what you're gonna have.
Yeah.
So check it out.
We'll be jamming a bunch of songs, especially, some of the acoustic stuff. We'll probably do that, man. We'll probably knock out some of that kind of shit. We're trying to mix it up.
Oh, I'm sure we're going to come up with try to get you guys involved in some sort of special performance type of thing. We tend to do that. We tend to twist your arm to kind of like, hey, we're here. There's no platform
acoustics, and I'm like, yeah, that's okay. We got a couple of them right here.
We got plenty.
Yeah. Oh, we have acoustic. Yeah. Oh.
It's
Yeah.
3:30 in the lounge. We'll see you there.
Do you have any live dates going on right now? Do you have a tour coming up or anything going on right now?
No, we're done for the year. Aside from our Austin holiday show, which we've done consecutively the last few years, December 16th here in Austin at Come and Take It Live. So that's pretty much it. And I know a bunch of Shiprockers are coming out for that because I've already seen people talking about it. So
okay,
we'll pregame there.
Yeah.
Is that a full electric show?
Yeah, that's a full Fire from the Gods experience with a bunch of local bands, bunch of Texas hardcore bands. I started a label called Audio Pariah Entertainment. I've got 2 rad bands right now, and we're looking to bolster the roster with more stuff. So check it. Young Marsh is a band.
Do you have a Instagram or Facebook page for this label?
Yeah, Audio Pariah Entertainment, APE 8.
Okay. All right, we'll make sure and tag that in and get people starting to go over to your page for sure.
100,
right
100,
now.
bro. 100, bro. Rock.
All right, my friend.
Themselves, man.
All right, so December 16th, Come and Take It Live, Christmas show, and Audio Pariah. Got it.
That's it.
All right, Chad, anything else to say to our friend here?
Nah, man. I'm just stoked that you were able to come on and hang out with us for a while, dude. I can't wait to see you in a few months.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
good luck at Halloween.
Yeah. I'll let you know.
I'll get to be Elsa. Honestly, that sounds dope.
About it, baby. Blonde chick. All right, my guy.
All right, my friend. Take care, Seth. See ya.
Bye, buddy.